All right, folks, Trump slams Iran and their financier, China. And that's the subject of the riff. President Donald J. Trump just put the heavy wood to Iran, and in so doing, just slammed China as well. As far as I'm concerned, Mr. Trump is dead right on both counts. Just a couple hours ago on Truth Social, the president announced, and I'm going to just quote it, all purchases of Iranian oil or petrochemical products must stop now. Any country or person who buys any amount of oil or petrochemicals from Iran will be subject to, immediately, secondary sanctions. They will not be allowed to do business with the United States of America in any way, shape, or form. End quote. I think Mr. Trump is completely right about this. Of course, Iran is the puppet master and the banker for all the terrorist groups trying to destroy Israel, and for that matter, the United States. Just like China is the sponsor of Russia's war on Ukraine, and by proxy, their ally, the United States. But back to Iran. In Donald Trump's first term, Iranian oil production fell to 400,000 barrels a day. That's all it was, 400,000 barrels a day back in 2020. Today, it has ramped back all the way up to 3.3 million barrels per day. It is, of course, their only cash crop, and they use it to finance their war against civilization. And even after the horrific Israeli massacre on October 7th, 2023, Joe Biden never had the gumption to truly go after Iran. But President Donald Trump does. However, the story gets a wee bit more complicated because the biggest financier of Iran and its war against civilization is China. China imports roughly 90% of Iran's oil exports. That comes to about 1.8 million barrels per day. The recent all-time high just hit in March. Actually, that comes to $1.8 billion. Some of this China oil imports from Iran are transshipped through Malaysia, but the Chinese Communist Party isn't fooling anybody with that. Now, with some back-of-the-envelope calculations, Brent crude oil averaged about $72 a barrel in March, multiplied times the 1.8 million barrels a day in March imported by China. That gets Iran nearly $4 billion a month, or $48 billion a year. That's a lot of terrorist money. Now, there may be discounting along the way, but that's still a lot of money to finance Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, and Lord knows who else. In effect, China is financing Iran's war against Israel and the U.S. and civilized people everywhere. Now, Mr. Trump has been saying he wants to do some trade tariff business with China. No one knows for sure if he and Xi Jinping have actually spoken recently, but it does seem pretty clear that bureaucrats from both sides are in contact over the tariff battle. With Mr. Trump's brave decision to slap secondary tariffs on anybody who buys Iranian oil and exempt such countries from doing business with the U.S., he is aiming squarely at China. Chinese won't like this one bit. But that's what they get for financing terrorists, killers, and murderers. I say good for President Trump. And that's the riff.